All right. So, a couple of weeks ago, we sat down and discussed all the politics, the drama surrounding esports in the Olympics, right? Remember that? Now, with the esports World Cup in full swing and the Call of Duty headlining the event, we get to see what could be. We get to see what happens when, like, a group of passionate people come together and pool their resources to create something truly special. I mean, for me personally, the whole event kind of perfectly encapsulates the true identity of esports, the kind of positive outreach that it can.
This is my part. What are you doing?
I don't know, hanging out. I don't know what all these buttons do. Here, you take it.
I'll take that.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You know, I really got to stop leaving the door to the studio unlocked. I don't know who that was or what that was about. But anyways, welcome back to Right Click. My name is Byrdman. I am pumped to talk to you about this episode because this is the exact thing we were talking about a couple of weeks ago when talking about the Olympics, specifically esports in the Olympics, because what we're seeing now is the very antithesis of how the Olympics views esports. This is what happens when esports is allowed to be its thing, do its thing, and run rampant in a really positive way. And if you're not familiar with what the Esports World Cup is, it is a, let's call it Olympic style. It is a format of just a multitude of games, hundreds of competitors, an insane prize pool, and I'm gonna break that down entirely. We're gonna browse around on the website and get to know it a little bit better, because that really just explains everything. But the Esports World Cup is now an annual esports centric. I'm going to call it a universe. I know that's kind of cheesy terminology here, but when you see what they have done to craft this, and I listen, I this is going to sound goofy. I literally mean craft. They made a city. They made a city out of this, and it is the coolest thing. But why is this important? Why does this matter? Well, it matters for the same reasons of what we were talking about in the Olympics episode, the gold medal gaming, a couple episodes back, because you know the reality is that I feel like esports has a real place in culture and in a good way, and I feel like things like the Olympics and these governing bodies that only really care about it for the narratives that they can push with it or the political gain that they can have from it are truly rupturing something good. Now, we know, absolute power corrupts absolutely, and they have absolute power over that in the Olympics. That's what the IOC is. The Esports World Cup took that, flipped it on its head, and said, screw it, we're going to run with it, and we're going to do it better. And I feel like to some level there is not as much bias in this. I feel like there is objectivity in this, because what we're seeing out of the Esports World Cup, and I'm about to change screens. I'm going to read this to you guys because this is incredible. We're seeing an actual formation of everything that we talked about 2 episodes ago about the influence that X Games had on esports broadly. Now, I will say, X Games did a great job of implementing a format, and we talked about that. But I never envisioned, and this is the crazy part, I never envisioned truly it looking like this. If you would have told 16, 17-year-old me competing his butt off trying to do all of that, I never, ever would have bet on this. And this is coming from somebody who was just at the largest Call of Duty event. I never would have guessed this. So what is the Esports World Cup? So let's switch over. This is on their actual website, and I'm just going to read this off to you. This is a great little summation of this. The Esports World Cup is an elite multi-genre esports competition that will take place annually in Saudi Arabia from 2024 during July and August in a world-class venue in Riyadh Boulevard City. The EWC will offer the largest prize pool in esports and feature the most popular esports titles across all major gaming genres. It will welcome a new cross-game competition format, awarding prizes for individual game titles and club performances. It is designed for both professional esports players and gaming enthusiasts, with qualifiers to provide as many teams as possible with the opportunity to participate, along with a thrilling calendar of on-the-ground activations, live entertainment, and competitions for fans. And that, I mean, they did a phenomenal job summing that up. And for everyone that's wondering about really the depth and capacity, here is the general overview of what the event is, start to finish. Buckle up, because I never ever would have bet money on it looking like this. And this is that, I mean that in a positive way. 21 game titles, 500 plus teams, 1,500 plus esports players, $60 million plus prize pool. Takes place from July 3rd to August 25th. You couldn't have put a gun to my head. You could not have put a gun to my head at 10 years ago. Never. I knew esports would grow, and I knew it was going to have challenges and bumps in the road. We all know that with everything that we find passion in that's a hobby. But man alive, this is incredible. I mean, this is truly incredible. And I'm going to run through the 21 game titles because I think it's important to know. And I'm not going to break down every one. There's going to be games here that you don't know. There's games here that I don't really know, and that's okay. I think that's awesome because each of these have a niche fan base, and yet they have taken those fan bases, brought them to Saudi Arabia, and said, "Hey, here's our counter argument." And this is, from everything I know about this, this is done legitimately. I'm not saying this is like a sales pitch or something cheesy. It literally was put together by a group of passionate people. Everything I know about this is. It's depth. It's actual depth and meaning. So, with that, they expanded the titles in which the players will compete. I believe this is alphabetical, so let's just run with it. So, Apex Legends, Counter-Strike 2, Call of Duty Warzone, Dota 2, EAFC 2024, for the record, that's a football soccer game. Fortnite, Free Fire, Honor of Kings, League of Legends, Mobile Legends, Overwatch 2, PUBG Mobile, PUBG Battlegrounds, Rainbow Six Siege, Rensport, which is a racing simulator game. Think F1, but racing, but simulated. Rocket League, StarCraft 2, Street Fighter 6, Teamfight Tactics, and Tekken 8. I mean, there is so much stuff here, and they amazingly didn't just say, all right, we're going to rent out a venue and we're going to play these games. No. As a matter of fact, I can't make this up. Ladies and gentlemen, they built a town. They built a freaking city, man. How cool is this? I mean, this is absolutely incredible. Dining opportunities, shopping opportunities, obviously food and beverage, information desk, car parks. They have a motorsport park. They have the ability where you can go in and rent a golf cart and go through the motorsport park. They have an anime park. They have little parks all around that are specifically designed for interests of gaming broadly. And it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. They built this. This is the festival guide. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I just want you to understand the depth and capacity of what they're doing here. Here's the schedule. Let's pause here. I'm going to zoom in on this. This is the schedule. So week 1 was League of Legends from $1 million prize pool. Then Mobile Legends, $3 million. Call of Duty Warzone, $1 million. Dota 2, $5 million. Then we get to week 2. Dota 2 again, $5 million. If you're wondering why there's overlap and multiples of these, it is based off of popularity. Dota 2 is an extremely popular on a global scale competitive sport, esport. Carrying on, we have Mobile Legends again, $3.5 million. Free Fire, $1 million. Then we get into week 3. We have Dota 2 again for another $5 million. Then we have Counter-Strike 2 for $1 million. Then we have PUBG Mobile, a mobile game for $3 million. Week 4, Overwatch 2, $1 million. Then we have Mobile Legends again, $1.1 million. PUBG Mobile again, $3 million. Week 5, Rainbow Six Siege for $2 million. Honor of Kings for $3 million. Apex Legends for $2 million. Week 6, Street Fighter 6 for $1 million. Fortnite for $1 million. Teamfight Tactics for $500,000. Week 7, and that's where we're at, FC24 for $1 million. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, my deepest connection because it's traditional Call of Duty format, $1.8 million. StarCraft 2, $1 million. And then capping it off, week 8, Rocket League, $500,000. Tekken 8, $1 million. PUBG Battlegrounds, $2 million. And then Ren Sport capping off with $500,000. Now, I got to tell you, I got to just full stop here. $60 million in prize pools. Obviously, taxes and all that, going to bring it down. But for me to sit here and see all of the 5 millions from Dota, the 3.5 from Mobile Legends, the 2 million from Rainbow Six, these huge staple names, PUBG, 3 million. And to see Modern Warfare, Call of Duty at that just around that 2 million mark warms my heart because, man, I got to tell you, I used to play for dollars, literally dollars. and to see this is something truly special. $60 million is a lot of money, man. Like, you can make the public arguments of, oh, it should go to this. Okay, whatever. Let's talk games here because this is a cultural statement. This is, and I'm going to get real blunt again, this is a giant middle finger to the Olympics and the IOC. I'm sorry. There is legitimately no other way to slice that. This is a giant middle finger. And this is the kind of wake-up call, I think, globally that matters so much for the growth of esports because, a couple of weeks ago, Call of Duty had its World Championship. And for the first time ever to go from the World Championship to something like this, where we're now in this gigantic melting pot, is phenomenal. And I don't think it's something that anybody ever meant. Now, I expected. Now, I will tell you, this is important, this is big, but I will tell you, because this is so new, for Call of Duty specifically, it doesn't exactly carry the same weight that Call of Duty Champs would, or did, or does. I think in time it will, because there's a level of exclusivity here. You're in Riyadh, you're in this beautiful place, beautiful town. It's taking 20-hour flights to get there. These guys are flying first class. Okay. It's special, yes. But there is depth and meaning to COD Champs that can't be erased. However, that's one of 21 titles. That's one of 21 efforts to make this a global, impactful thing. Something that we have never, ever seen before. Just in qualifiers, they were handing out over $7 million to the winners. I mean, they created this town, this city, this gathering point, this place where people that are like-minded around the world can come and play. And the cool thing is, there's a team called Team Falcons, and they are traditionally a Saudi Arabian team. They don't get a lot of outreach, one, because most of the qualifiers and the stuff, not just in Call of Duty, but on esports in general, the qualifiers and the majority of like your normal games throughout the year are played online. And there's server issues. You have somebody around the world from you, and you're going to have an extraordinarily high latency. They're not going to be able to play normal. Neither side is. Whoever's closest to where that server's hosted is going to have less issues. That's why, most of the teams for Call of Duty, a large number of them, are all based in Texas because some of the best servers are based in Texas. Now, we've seen problems with East Coast, West Coast teams finding a server that they can both play on. Now imagine that around the world. And Team Falcons is the biggest one that isn't stateside or European. I'll give them that, like British specifically. And they are getting a chance at a Call of Duty team. These guys that I just watched a couple of weeks ago play and win COD Champs are about to play the Call of Duty team for Team Falcons. And this is I know, a very special thing for Team Falcons because they have been wanting to do this for a long time. They have a small group of die-hard COD fans, and they're getting their chance to shine. And I think that's what's so amazing about this particular format, because never before has it been to this scale, of course, but also to bring back, even in the slightest, that kind of bracket play. These people aren't technically pros, but they have a shot to play against and with the pros. Man, I haven't seen that since, Lord, what, the COD World League, the thing that preceded the Call of Duty League that we have now. And I mean, you're talking about 6, 7, 8 years ago. I mean, that's how it always was. That large scale, you spend $200, you buy a team pass, you go on location, you play through bracket play. If you play well enough, you make it to qualifiers, or technically that's in reverse, but you play qualifiers, you make it to bracket play, and you playing against pros and stuff like this. And man, it was cool. And to see that, even in a very small sense, come back on such a massive stage for $60 million is mind-blowing to me. And it's very special for me to see underdogs like Team Falcons, who I know genuinely, truly love this particular esport. And they're in a lot of other esports, and I've been watching them compete over the last couple of weeks. To see that is an underdog story for the lifetime, man. I can't put to words, as somebody who cares this deeply about esports, about gaming, about this particular corner of the world, to see this level of love being outpoured, man, it's amazing. And look at what they're doing to honor these dudes. Gonna switch over here. This is the arenas that they're playing in. I mean, look at this stuff. This is incredible. It's sleek. It's modern. This is multi-level stages, and I mean, gaming halls. Look at the depth and the detail, and it's all for the sake of bringing to light these esports that are just. Oh man, I mean, it's incredible. A lot of these esports have never gotten this level of love. I mean, they even have an esports museum. They have global trophies. I mean, it's just incredible. And they built this. They built this. Now I will tell you, Amazon Arena right here, in the top middle. Amazon Arena is where the Call of Duty team will be playing, and I'll see if I can pull up. An image of that while we're doing this. But man, I am absolutely speechless. I think this is the best possible outcome for where we're at. In esports as a whole, and to see this kind of love being poured out. Here's what the arena will look like for this upcoming Call of Duty. It starts tomorrow. It starts real early because of the time difference. But man, I mean, it's just downright incredible. This is what it looks like. Shout out to the Flank and all these guys. Big darn arena with these big fancy walkouts and all of this. Sleek lines, cool looks, very curated very curated. I mean, all those things that you saw behind them, like the big ribbon-looking things, are all screens. But I have to talk. I have to talk about the trophies too. I have to talk about the trophies. That's the other big thing I want to really kind of hammer in on, because they are doing. I just want you to see this. I obviously can't, for the sake of copyright and stuff like that, I can't show you the full video, even though it's only a minute and a half long. I will show you this. I'll give you a little clip of it here, a little teaser. So I'm going to switch back over, and you'll see this little pillar of sorts. And what this pillar is the ultimate trophy. It's not just a trophy. Each team gets a small trophy. It says something like, nothing is given, everything is earned on it. But here's how this trophy system works. What you just saw there was what they're calling the totem. Here is their official description of it from the video. The Esports World Cup is a unique tournament and will have a very unique trophy system consisting of keys. And keys, for those of you that are watching, keys, I'll make it with my hand, is about that big. It's about the size. You'd hold it with two hands, but it's not much bigger than that. It's a trophy system consisting of keys, game trophies, the club championship trophy, and the totem. Introducing the key. This symbolizes a participant's right to compete in Riyadh. Each team or player will receive a personalized key consisting of the inner key and the outer frame. Winning a competition earns you a game trophy, so the individual trophy, and a champion's key will be inserted inside the frame. It will be placed into a slot to a physical block on display into the totem on a physical display in Riyadh, serving as a progress bar for the Esports World Cup. The totem will remain in Riyadh as a chronicle of the Esports World Cup history. Oh God, I love this. This is so creative. Those who get eliminated throughout the competition must give up their keys and see them crushed. Their broken keys will be tossed into the totem and encased in resin, symbolizing those that tried to win but fell short. However, as an additional privilege for winning each game's champion, they get to select 3 opponents' keys to be encased in the base of their trophy as an additional and more personal prize. Losers will go home with their keys replaced with the token that marks where they ended their journey, and you get to witness all of this at the Esports World Cup. Listen, as far as sheer creativity goes, for this right here, this is the resin that they're talking about at the bottom here, at the bottom of this this totem. And as time goes on, it's a list of winners, top to bottom. And then those little shards are what they were talking about, where they destroyed the competition's totems and encased them in resin for all to see how many tried and came up short. Okay, say what you will, but man alive, that is creative. I get that, it's one statue, totem, whatever you want to call it. It's going to stay in one place, yes, but they have built this as an esports epicenter. I understand there will people be like, why in Saudi Arabia? Okay, sure, fair enough. You can have that argument, but they did it, and they did it well, because I can tell you right now, I know the Olympics aren't going to do this. They've half done anything that they've talked about, even surrounding esports. I know the U.S. is going to do it. The only thing that's even remotely on a grand scale in the U.S., apart from just standardized professional teams, is it started to kind of leak into a collegiate format. It's very, sport by sport basis, but you're not going to see anywhere else in the world that has this kind of passion for esports, that is this kind of love for esports, that is this kind of desire to see it grow. And Radiate was right. To say that this kind of thing radiated is entirely correct. And I am so thankful that I am actually getting to see, as as an adult, I'm getting to look at the very thing that I so desperately wanted to see this little corner of the world turn and blossom into. Not to get overly personal and overly emotional or sappy about it, I think that this is this is beyond special. I think the effort that they've put into it, of course, they have money to throw around. We know where we're talking about. You know, they're where they're at. Of course, this is what they do. They sink money into it. But I think this was the kind of catalyst that was required to turn around and go, hey, esports, hey, Olympics, hey, X Games. Look, it can be done. People can care. We can make a lot of money in a mutual benefit out of this too. We can bring people together in a positive way. And I cannot personally look at the Esports World Cup and not see the very foundation that I've always seen from the very beginning. And that is talented people with a passion for what they were doing, radiating it's just good. It's just good. It's everything that I've talked about that esports could be and that so many are using to politicize. This is the proof in the pudding that if we just stopped for a minute, this could bring people to a city. It could bring people to a nation. Clearly it is. 1,500 plus people just playing. They're bringing family members. They're bringing friends. They're bringing tons of fans, and they're getting exposure, and all of it has been extraordinarily positive. It's been unique. It's been an experience, and not just for the players. And that's what esports is about. Because here's the thing. Here's where esports and traditional sports will never be able to bridge the gap, specifically from traditional sports. Coming from somebody who spent their life also playing traditional sports. If I grew up watching the NBA, I can make my attempts and I can make my efforts to go try to be in the NBA. I ain't going to be in the NBA. There's very few people that will. Just like there's very few people that will become professionals in Call of Duty. Excuse me. However, I can go and play a pickup game, and I can go down to the Y and bring my ball and play a pickup game, or maybe I have a group of 4 other guys that like to get together and hustle other guys at the Y, or maybe I got a group of 10. Okay, great. Play a private league. Sure. I used to play volleyball. Just pick up with some friends. I love it. And you get to kind of get to walk it a little bit. But the difference between traditional sports and esports is I can load up into this right now, and I can walk that same path, and I can play against these people. It might just be happenstance. It might be I earned it. I have the luck of it, or whatever it may be. But this gives people the ability to walk the path. And let me make this clear. There's a difference between knowing of the path and walking the path. And that's cool, because esports does that in a way that traditional sports can't. If you want to play ball, if you want to play football, you play in high school, you play in middle school, you play in high school, you hope to get a scholarship to college, right? You hope to make it to the NFL, right? Few and far between. But there's not a lot of pickup football leagues. There's flag football leagues. There's stuff that can simulate it or emulate it or pretend to be. But no other traditional sport can have the same kind of direct connection that esports allows. And that's why it's special. That's why it's special to me. Because I went from being able to know of that path and see these guys, these professionals do it. And then, by my own talent, I got to walk that path. I never made it. Right? Like, I never made it. But I have accolades to my name. Maybe one day I'll sit down and I'll talk about some of the stuff that I've done and some of the stuff that that I've gotten to compete in and different things even over the last couple of years. Neither here nor there. It's not something that you can find just anywhere. And esports has bridged gaps between age groups, between people groups, and literally globally. You think, well, soccer has a global outreach. Yeah, sure. True. But we get something like this where it truly is global, where we have people that can come in attendance. We have people that can play in open brackets. Like, you don't get that just anywhere else. And that's the passion and that's the love behind esports. That really has to continue. And I pray to God that the Esports World Cup kicks that off permanently. I want nothing more. And I think this could do it. I think this could throw it back in the face of the Olympics, even in the face of X Games. And the people that want to politicize this and make this mountain out of this molehill. I'm leaving it at that. That's my personal rant on the topic. The Esports World Cup is awesome. By the time this goes up, Call of Duty will be playing. So throw on YouTube or Twitch TV and type in EWC or Esports World Cup. I guarantee you'll see something happening. It's cool stuff. It's phenomenal production. My lord, their production is incredible. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed our fun little antics at the start. It was fun times. I love talking about this. I'm glad we get to talk about something that's much more uplifting, but still in the same realm. It's not something we always get to do, and I'm glad we did this time. Anyways, my name is Byrdman. Make sure you go check us out, rightsidemedia.org. Send me an email, byrdman@rightsidemedia.org. I would love to chat with you guys. I think this is something that we all need to come together and talk about, because this is the positivity that I've talked about since episode 1 and how much it matters to so many people. And I can't wait to bridge that gap with the rest of you guys. Again, my name is Byrdman. This has been Right Click. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you guys next week.